Erin, why do you think these people have this fear of failure? Like, what's that about?
I think that people, because they've tried so many things, they don't
Mm,
want to try something else and have it not work. I think sometimes even I look back at my situation and I think it was like my whole family, they just wanted me to do so well and they wanted to help me. And they were all like, okay, we have to find the answer. And it's like
uh,
they were so stressed out that would make me feel more stressed out. And I didn't really see that dynamic until I saw it,
um,
but it
yeah.
was bigger, I think, than I really realized.
Wow. Thank you for bringing that up, actually, because it's something that I wrote down for our members recently, actually, about the guilt. And it's like your family or loved ones, they care for you so much that all they want is for you to be better almost overnight. And that pressure is then placed upon the person experiencing the problem. And it's just such a heavy pressure. And that's where boundaries are so important. You know, we have a loved ones workshop for all our members to send to all their spouses and family and friends just to support them in the right way at the right time, because support's going to be different depending on whether the person's in stage one, the acute stage of suffering, stage two, which is the re-strengthening stage, or stage three, which is integrating back into life. Different support forms at different times. You know, letting go of help completely in stage three is very important. You don't need someone, are you okay? Are you okay? You don't need that. But the pressure, the added pressure is huge. And especially financially too. More money down the drain. Like my parents remortgaged their house. Like we had no money. We didn't have spare money to burn on stuff. It was really tough. And my parents obviously
Mhm.
loved me so much and they would do anything for me, which was to remortgage their house to pay for treatments. But it wasn't until we tried all those treatments that nothing really worked. We held on to hope so hard and then it wouldn't work, or I'd see a little bit of improvement, but no miracles.
Mhm.
And that was the pivotal moment for us, especially for me. It had to come from me. It couldn't come from anybody else. Nothing else
Yeah.
outside of me is going to fix me. I've got to fix myself. I've got to do
Mhm.
the work. I've got to help myself get healthy and start living again. And I don't care how long it's going to take. I'm taking full responsibility now.
Yeah. I think the other biggest, one of the biggest things I learned from you, aside from the how to progress physically side, was what are you focusing on?
Mm,
And I think that that's what we need to come back to time and time again, especially in recovery. Like, is this a limiting belief? But also, well, there are tangible things I can actually be doing, regardless of what stage you're in, that are actually going to shift things, shift the needle very gradually. But I think that, that's a really big component. But going back to the question around what's that fear of failure, I think it's that added pressure
mm,
potentially from family members and just going through and not having things work in the past. But I think what I like to always ask people when they join the program, they often just feel like, well, I don't really know if recovery is possible. But I said, well, what if I got support on finding my baseline, like stabilizing my activity levels so that I wasn't making symptoms worse and I could build appropriate, like, would that work? If I had feedback from coaches when something came up and I could ask instead of like just going and spinning on my own, or if I had this community that was supportive. And so I think that that's a really great way to think about it. Look at kind of that kind of aspect to it. And also just think about, instead of like necessarily needing to see what does my life look like in 50 years, it's like just kind of breaking it down. It's like, what if I improved by 5% or 10%, and what do I think are those things? Does this resonate with you? Because
mm.
people are at different places. So someone might have some work to do in some area, others may not. So what we do, we work in these foundations of health, which, lays them out really beautifully for people, but everyone's going to be a little unique and they might pick and choose from different places as well.
What they need at the right time.
Yeah.